Hello friends and welcome. I'm Sarah Liz and I'm back with another emergency card kit for you and a Fun Fold Friday. So this card is from the sketch that was in kit 61, but the corner pops off and then the card folds down sort of backwards or upside down. So I added a little easel to the back that's super simple to make sure it could stand up on display. This card sketch is great for making sets of cards, so I made custom sentiments to go with it. Let's take a look at this mini kit. This is kit 62. These are all occasions large rectangles. They are 2 3/4 of an inch by 1.5, and we have tick marks on the side to help you cut them out and get them straight. You don't need any fancy punches or dies for these. We have Happy St. Patrick's Day, Happy Easter, Happy Mother's Day, Happy Father's Day, sending huge hugs, wishing you comfort, wish big, thank you, happy birthday wishes, and fabulous birthday wishes. This is a completely free download, and I've just linked it in the description box below. If you click on more or show more, it will link you to my Google Drive. There is a second page here that removes those tick marks. I've spread them out a little bit, so if you want to use a die or a different shape altogether, this one makes that a little bit easier. This one's linked in Patreon, but I have a free membership to my Patreon. So right next to the download, there's a link to that specific post in Patreon, and there's a link to the video tutorial from my Patreon that shows you how to join for free. If you like the idea of expanding your stash with free printable sentiments, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any more freebies. If you're a paid member of my Patreon, I've also included this kit as digital stamps for all paid tiers. All right, friends, last Friday, I released a video where we just made the card sketch and all the measurements are there. And so some of this will be a little familiar. We're just stepping it up. I'm taking some of the free digital paper that came in kit 61 and I'm cutting it down using the pink measurements. So 3 3/4 by 5 inches. I will link to that video and that kit below in case you're interested in that freebie as well. So you can see it matches my card sketch, and now I have a piece of navy cardstock that I'm going to run through the Cross My Heart 3D embossing folder. It's a little big at first, but then I cut it down to that same size, 3 3/4 by 5 inches. I want this cardstock to be the gray corners from my sketch. So I'm using the grid on my mat to measure over 3 1/4 from the top and side on that right corner. And then I'm going to work on the bottom corner. So I'm measuring over from the left 2.5 inches on the bottom. I'm just making little pencil marks so I know where to put this in my trimmer. And then 4 3/8 inches high. If you're like, I don't do eighths of inches, just round it to like 4 1/4. That'll work just fine. When I put this in my trimmer, I am just lining up the pencil marks that I made on the blade of my trimmer, and then I'm going to get perfect sizing for everything. You could do a 2-for-1 on this, and you could cut that pattern paper the same way and then just piece together these 3 pieces, swapping out the middles to create your card sketch. I'm not going to do that because I like the idea of a raised set of corners. This piece of paper is for our fun fold. It's 4 5/8 by 4 5/8 of an inch. And I have used like a white acrylic marker just to mark a center score line. And I am just scoring the diagonal, okay? If you're comfortable just folding, do that. This is 65-pound cardstock because we're basically making origami. I'm gonna remove one of the triangles, doesn't matter which one. I've made you a little sketch on the bottom. You guys, my brain turns everything into a fun fold. You know how sometimes you see videos with like fake lip reading that are really funny? Well, my brain like fake sees fun folds in other people's cards. I just assume something moves. So here I have all of my 3 triangles, and I'm going to label them A, B, and C. You don't need to do this, but I thought it'd be easier. I folded down A, and then I'm going to put glue on top of that and fold down C. So there is no glue right in the middle there, and it creates a pocket. I did have to trim a sliver off the diagonal of this to make my cardstock fit, or my embossed cardstock fit, but that's okay, right? I am not perfect at my measurements, not a problem. I'm just gonna glue this right on top of there, and now what looks like just pattern paper is a little pocket that will sit right on the corner of my card. Then I will just glue down this other piece into the corner of the pattern paper. You could pop that up on some 1mm thin foam if you wanted to. I think that would be beautiful. I'm making a mini card This piece is 3 3/4 wide, which is the same as our pattern paper, but then 10 inches tall, and I scored it 5 inches. I want the fold at the bottom, right? So this is gonna drop down like an upside down card. Sometimes I do this accidentally, right? And it's my oops card. Well, this time it's on purpose, and I'm really excited about it. So I'm going to fold the whole thing up. You can see the openings at the top, and then I put the corner over both layers of that mini card. So when I flip it over, you can still see our triangle pocket. I'm going to add really thin foam. This is that 1 millimeter thin foam. It's from scrapbook.com, you guys. It's 1 inch wide. It's so fast. I put it everywhere except where I have that triangle pocket. I'm adding a little bit of wet glue just for some float time to make sure I get my placement right. And then I'm going to center this on my card panel. I think it's easier for me anyway to rotate it so that I can see more of it at the same time without getting my head in the camera. And I just lay that right on there. And now my fun fold is essentially made. So I'm going to use the Perfect Touch rectangles from Spellbinders as a mat for our large format sentiments, but you don't have to, right? The sentiments are 2 3/4 by 1.5. So this mat using the dies is 3 inches by 1 3/4. And you could just cut that mat so it's a 1/4 inch bigger. That would work great. I'm going to use the page on this one that uses the tick marks to cut this out. So I'm just connecting those tick marks on the blade of my trimmer, but I don't cut all the way through the top. I want these little flaps there. That way, when I rotate it, I still have my side pieces that have the other tick marks, and I just connect those and I can cut them out and they're perfect. I like to add my sentiments with removable adhesive so I can change them if I want. I love that this has like all occasion sentiments. So if I made a handful, I could just cut them out and give them to the recipient with a couple of cards, and they can choose what works best for them. Here, I grabbed kit 61. It has St. Patrick's Day, Easter, Funny Bunny, which is like non-religious Easter, and St. Patrick's Day. And I'm using my 1 3/4 inch circle punch to cut out a sentiment that says, "This could be wine." It's the same kit that has that free pattern paper. And then I'm using 2 die sets, the Tiny Mugs and the Robot Builder, both from Trinity Stamps. And I'm gonna make this cute little badge to go on the back. So again, it says, "This could be wine." And we have this little bitty mug and then a little bitty heart that I've cut out of the same gold mirror cardstock I used for my sentiment. It's from the Gold Treasured Cardstock collection from Spellbinders. It's a really affordable specialty cardstock. I'll link to it below. I've just been really impressed with it. I'm gluing down my sentiment onto my 2-inch circle that I used my Emergency Card Essentials die set number 1 for. It's just a 2-inch circle, folks. Whatever works. And then we're gonna work on our little easel. So this is 3 inches by 2 3/4 inch. And I scored a 1/2 inch from the long side. Doesn't matter which side. Then I'm gonna use my scissors and I'm just gonna cut a wedge. It's probably 3/4 inch at its widest. And then I'm gonna come in another like 3/4 inch from the other side and just connect those 2 pieces at a point. So that's gonna be my little like easel stand. On the bottom of my flap, I did not cut that. So I am just lining that up so it's flat, flush against the bottom of the card, and so that the point hides all the way behind the card, so it will still fit in my envelope. Then I can fold that stand back, and I'll use removable adhesive to add my teacup, since this might not be appropriate for whoever I give it to later. And it says, "Happy birthday wishes." We have this great fun fold corner, the drop down. Y'all, I love a fun fold. If you're interested in my free printable kits, all I ask is that you subscribe to my channel. These large format sentiments are linked in the description box for this video, but I will also link to the video with that pattern paper and the card sketch. If you missed it yesterday, I had a video making 4 cards using these same large format sentiments and making 2-for-1 cards. So I will link that below as well. Thank you all so much for spending your time with me, and I will see you next time.